Hello. Today I'm going to talk with you a little bit about Paper 1, which is a summary and response paper, and this is for English 111 at JCC. Um, but when we write a summary, um, we are practicing a skill that we use all the time in academics and quite a bit in our personal lives. If you think about what you do when you're having a conversation and you want to say, oh, the other day I did this, well, you're summarizing. Hopefully, you're summarizing. So, this paper um, is practice, but also, it's a high stakes at the end, 5% of your grade. And I'm going to walk through the assignment sheet. So if you haven't printed that off or you don't have it next, on your device, go ahead and pause me and then go get that and come back. This assignment, I put it first because I want to give you some practice in things that we're going to do all semester. And we are going to practice a little bit before we write the final draft, because writing is a recursive process. We go and we write some stuff down, and then we look at it and go, oh, we write some more stuff, and we look at it, or we have somebody else look at it and they go, oh, and we fix it some more. And so um, that practice is going to be apparent from the beginning. And this practice, the summary practice, is a fairly straightforward procedure. But where we tend to mess it up as humans is we want to put our feelings and our opinions about what's going on in there as well. And for this paper, I want you to separate the two. And so you can see, too, that summary is very distinct from and very highly related to our opinion of the article, our response, how we feel about it. And so these concepts, how we what something says and how we internalize it are tied together. And so I'm going to have you do both on the same article for this particular paper. So the assignment here is to read one of the literacy narratives or one of the memoirs in the reading section of the Norton Guide to Writing with Readings, and then summarize it in about 200 to 300 words. So that's about a page, 3/4 page to page. And then you're also going to have to respond to the story, another 300 to 500 words. Did you like it? Why or why not? Was it well written? Did the author do well in what they set out to write? What should others do with the story? How should we apply it to our work, our ideals, our own writing? And so to make it a paper, you have to have an interesting introduction and you have to have kind of a summative conclusion. And so on the assignment sheet, you're going to see a grading criteria. This is what a lot of folks call a rubric. And so it's a successful paper will include the following. Okay, you have to have an introduction with a hook. How are you going to get somebody interested in reading this? I know I have to read it and it's okay, but you can make it interesting. This is practice again. A summary that follows the rules for summaries. And there's a separate video about summarizing academic works that you can also watch. A summary that has all the main ideas in the same order as the original. It has the same proportion of evidence and detail as the original and the same conclusions. And it leaves out any editorializing. Okay, this is only about the story. Okay, not about us yet. Then a response that covers all the bases. Your opinions of the story's tone, detail, and evidence, those questions that I have up in the assignment list. And what do you think the rest of us should do with the story? Okay. Never read this, it's horrible. No, just kidding. You need a conclusion that sums things up and leaves us with your last thoughts on the topic or the story itself. This needs to be a text fairly free of errors. Read your work out loud, edit it from the peer review, and we're going to walk through that in just a sec. You need to have coherent and adequate transitions between the sections, a clear sense of organization, close attention to conventions and formatting for an MLA paper. Now, you won't necessarily have to do a works cited page for this, although I may have you do a stab at the story that you're summarizing. And then the rough draft, we're going to do 4 things in 2 weeks for this paper. The first thing is to answer the first 4 questions at the end of whichever one you pick. The 5th one is about writing an essay, and I already have you an assignment for that, so you don't need to do that. But 1 through 4 will help you get to the core and internalize a bit more about the topic. I've got a little blurb for that as an assignment sheet as well. And then the rough draft is due Thursday, and then the peer review is due after that. We're going to use a discussion board to mediate our draft process this semester. I've tried this in other classes and it works really well. It allows you to post your particular paper online so other people can look at it. It allows you as the peer reviewer to go in and get that person's paper and look at it without the strange apparatus that Blackboard uses for groups. Okay. So you're going to post the rough draft to the discussion board, and then you're going to use as your reply a peer review sheet that I'm going to give you, and that it's going to, you'll have somebody particular that you're supposed to focus on. So make sure you get your work done so they can do their work, so you can get your work back and write the final draft. There are 8 different stories in the back of the book or the end of the book, depending upon how you think about ebooks. There are 4 literacy narratives. And I think this would be very helpful for you because the next paper we're going to write is a literacy narrative. And so this gives you a little bit of a broadscape reading for things. There's, like I said, there are 4 literacy narratives. You can also use, if none of those strike your fancy, you can also use the memoir section in the Norton Field Guide to Writing with Readings. There's 4 of those. All 8 of these are up for grabs, and they have a good range on them. You should find something that you could be interested in. And if not, I'm sorry, but you're stuck with these 8. And we'll walk through how this works, where they go, and then the process for this is you're going to do the engaging with the text at the end of that particular one, and each one has a little bit different questions, and then you're going to write your own rough draft, intro, summary, response, conclusion, and post that to the discussion board. And then you're going to read somebody else's from the discussion board and post the peer review. And then you're going to write a final draft based on all of that feedback. Now, I will have access to the rough drafts, obviously, because they're on the discussion board. And I will buzz through them, but I'm not going to give you, unless there's something horribly wrong, you didn't use the right essays or something like that. I'm just going to read them for, okay, here's what they did, here's what it does, yes, this is great. And then the final draft is the one that I'm going to review for a grade. Most of the other papers, we will do both a peer review and instructor review. But I think this one is short and sweet and to the point, and I think you guys can handle this mostly on your own. But we'll see if I'm right. So if you have questions, you know what to do. Email me, let me know what is going on, what you're having trouble with or not, and it'll all be well in the end. So this is paper 1. It's due shortly. We run through it in 2 weeks, and I think you'll be good to go after that. So have a great day. Let me know if you have questions. Bye.